Hey guys, so excited to have you with us tonight. Actually, one of my favorite subjects, and I think it's overlooked quite often.
Yeah, we're going to talk about something that both Julie and I have been through millions of times. There's not one of y'all that's going to be listening here to us tonight, whether it's live or recorded, that's not gone through this. So this is going to be really, really good stuff. And we're just waiting for a bunch of people to log on. We appreciate it. We want to welcome you all. We got some really, really good stuff today. I could see some people. Can you see him, Julie?
Yeah. Hey, Dana. Hey, Dave, Desiree, Edward, Frank, Jeff, John, Rick, Rosa, Travis, Victoria, on and on. But I just want to thank you guys, for being with us tonight and being a part of us. Part of what we're going to be discussing tonight is, doing a little bit of things, outside of your comfort zone. If you're looking to be successful, and sometimes that means doing webinars at 7 o'clock at night and doing life around it. I know, for a lot of you, we've all got busy lives, and we've got to move our lives around what our goals in life are. Even just before this webinar, I went to Kroger and went grocery shopping.
And I went to work out, so that's why I'm having a cigar. So, yeah, we got some good stuff today, and we appreciate you all really investing time into yourselves, guys. We know there's places you could be. There's things you could be doing. Again, whether you're watching us live or recorded, and just the fact that you're investing time into yourself, into your future, we don't take that lightly here. We know we to this day, we invest tremendous amount of time in our growth, in our wanting to get further on in this business and overall. So we love guys like you, and this is great. And we're going to give you all some great opportunities today to work with us directly. And, we're very, very much looking forward to it, and look forward to working with a number of you all. There's a number of you all we're already working with and doing deals with, and that's exciting. We got some great stuff. Actually, next Tuesday, when we do this, you guys will see some cameras around us probably. Pretty exciting news. They're going to be doing a reality show on us here. And we're going to have people from Hollywood here next week videoing us. Yeah, it's so funny because, they want to make this like real, real life, real situations. And so we got a bunch of people that are going to be here next week, and maybe they'll make this part of the recording. And some of y'all are actually coming in to visit us next week just to be part of the reality series, and that's going to be exciting. So some of y'all are listening in today, maybe here with us here next week. So that's really, really exciting. And
hey, one thing I want to mention, just because I think it's important. Dana said she got a contract. Cool. So I just think it's good way to go, Dana. That's awesome. I'm so excited for you. As obviously, that's the goal of this game, is to get some contracts. So good job.
All right. Well, why don't we go ahead and get rolling? But before, and the topic today, guys, is really something that's common, like I said, to us here, to everyone in our organization, and to many of y'all. And that is we all had reasons not to continue in this business. Today, we're going to share some of the reasons that I had that I wanted to quit. Julie's going to talk about some of the reasons she had there were times where she wanted to quit. Look, the honest to goodness truth is we all doubt this thing is at point. Especially when you're getting started. That's natural. So we want to talk about some of our reasons, some of the other reasons that we know that other people wanted to quit, actually went on to quit. And we want to tell you why you don't want to quit. But at the same time, we want to make you all understand that it's okay to have those feelings. It's nothing you want to fight. It's nothing that you want to be like, well, gosh, I must be the only one that's going through this. No, it's common that you kind of doubt the business, doubt yourself sometimes, doubt the market you're in, doubt the timing of this whole thing. Very, very common. So we want to share with you all the situations we've been through. But before we get rolling, guys, one of the things that we do here, guys, that we're so excited about, and you all know us, for those of y'all that follow us through social media, is we do deals. And now at this point, so much of our own investing here has changed into doing an overwhelming majority of the deals that we are involved here are with people like you all. Like if we were to be doing this a year or 2 or 3 ago, we'd be talking about the things we're doing here. And none of y'all would probably been, you could learn but none of y'all were involved with us. Now, almost every deal we're doing, it's with a partner. It's a partner, whether it's here across the street, or it's a partner across the state, or it's a partner across the United States. And so we're looking for more partners. We want to do more deals. So one of the things that you guys see on your phone right now or on your screen is you have 2 options. We want to give you all the ability. We want to give you guys the opportunity to work with us directly. So we will show you how to do deals. We will provide 100% of all the capital for your deals. We will help you in the construction of the deals, the rehab that needs to be done, and then we're going to sell it, and then we're going to split the profits. But before we kind of let people into our world doing that, we want to talk to you first. So there's 2 ways to talk to us. One is to schedule a call with us. And there we'll talk a little bit about what's going on here, how we do those things. We want to find out a little bit about what you're doing. And so you see a link on your screen where you just go to a website. What's that?
It's calljuliemuse.com.
Go to www.calljuliemuse.com, pick a time slot, and then you'll be talking to either Julie or myself or our assistant Lana, and she's just as capable to talk to you all about it. But that'll give you an idea of what it really means to work with us and to partner with us and to get trained by us and to get coached by us and to use 100% of our money and to do the deals together, okay? Or if you're, some of y'all I know don't want to schedule something for a day or 2 down the road. Some of y'all are ready to just like, okay, I want to do it. I'm ready to do it. And so for those of y'all, just whether it's during the broadcast or right afterwards, you want to call the number. And I can't see the number. What's the number, Julie?
It's 404-618-1010. And that'll actually go directly to one of us. It's on a circular phone thing. So just, either call us directly or just go ahead and schedule a call. I've talked to, in the last month, I would say definitely hundreds of people that are looking to get started in this business or have already done a few deals and is wanting to take it to the next level. And, honestly, with some of those people that I even talked to even a month ago, I'm already doing deals with them already as we speak. And it's just absolutely amazing. I didn't realize how much joy working with all of these partners would bring in my life, because it's always fun to do deals on my own or for you to do deals on your own. But man, isn't it fun to talk to everybody about the little intricacies of the deals and the crazy little stories of their rehabs and things that go on while we're wholesaling. It's not only is it profitable for you and that you get to learn, but I feel like, it's brought a new layer, in my life, and I'm able to build a ton of relationships. And look, I don't know what else to tell you. We want you to be part of our world. We're doing deals. I want to get up and go show you the deals we've just closed here in the last 2 days, because I've got the folders in my office.
Yeah, guys, that's what we're all about here. So once again, and we'll kind of mention this throughout the session today, but if you want to learn how to do deals, if you want to use our infrastructure here, our employees to do deals with, if you want to use 100% of our money to fund those deals, help with fixing those deals if they need fixing, and then we'll sell them and split the profits. You need to go set up a call at that link that's on your screen, and at the same time, or if you're ready to talk to one of us immediately, literally even during this broadcast, Lana will pick up the phone or right afterwards. Please call. We'll explain everything and get you going. So yeah, this is what we've closed these with a partner here in the last couple days.
These are all partner deals.
Why don't you go over?
And look, guys, you could be, one of these. This is why we do this. Obviously, we want you to learn. We want to build relationships. But Bowen and California.
Do you know the numbers on that deal are?
Purchase, rehab, and then.
Okay, so this is a deal we did with one of our partners. We bought it for $150,000. We spent $25,000 to fix it of our money.
We actually sold that for $244,000.
And sold it for $244,000.
Edward, we bought for $146,000, and we sold it for $287,000. And I can't remember. I think we put 40 in this one.
That's a good deal.
Great deal. We got another one here with a partner in Atlanta. Then we closed. This was a wholesale deal. And then this is not bad either. We split $8,900 on a wholesale deal. I mean, you can't win them all, but as long as you're doing a deal, you're winning it, guys. You're winning it. So we want to be with you. Church Street. We've been working on this one since March.
You know the numbers are?
I should have had this prepared ahead of time for you guys.
I think we made about $60,000 on that one.
Yep.
We made about $60,000. Remember, all partner deals with individuals just like you guys across the country.
$89,000 to buy. We sold it for $134,000. I don't think we did much of anything to that one. Here's another one that we did with a partner, which was an assignment deal. And I'm not showing you this, guys, to brag. If anything, I'm bragging on our people. Look what they did. I mean, really, look what they did. And this is just in 2 or 3 days. I mean, I could just like shout from the rooftops. I'm so excited for these folks.
No, this is awesome. This is what it's all about. But guys, here's what we want to talk about today. We all along the way had reasons that we had some legitimate reasons. I'll tell you about some of my reasons when I got started. Why I wanted to quit. I mean, I think in the first year when I got started 20 some years ago, honest to goodness, I think I quit about 20 times in this business. Literally quit about 20 times. And I had some legitimate reasons, you know. I'll tell you about some situations I had. I remember when I got started in this business, right? Kind of got started, came out of another business. And one of the things that I know I needed when I got started that so many of us need, and we show you how to do it the right way. I didn't know how to do it the right way. Well, we all need some real estate agents, right? I mean, you can't build this business without having a realtor involved, whether it's to help you find a deal, definitely to help you sell a deal, maybe somewhere in the middle to help you with adjust some numbers and all this. And I still remember, like, I was dialing realtors when I got started.
Yeah.
And I got a hold of this realtor. And I don't know why. For some reason, he's like, okay, well, come out and see me. Well, I'm thinking, okay, here's an agent I'm trying to get a hold of. Tell him I got started in the business. And this guy was going to see me. I was like, okay. And I still remember I went to Buckhead. Now, Buckhead, for those of you that don't know Atlanta, that's like the ritziest part of Atlanta. And I remember I went to visit this realtor. And I was excited. I mean, this was a realtor's like, yeah, come on, see me. Yeah. So, like, why would somebody want to see me unless they want to help me, you know? So I remember going into a high-rise, a Buckhead ritzy place, a ritzy high-rise. I was on a, 10th, 12th floor, sat in a conference room, floor-to-ceiling windows. And I'm not kidding you. For the next 30 minutes, this realtor went up one side of me, down the other side of me about what a mistake I was making. I mean, literally for 30 minutes. I don't think I talked too much. And all he kept on telling me is like, well, if you would have done it 5 years earlier, this would have been a good thing to do it. Well, if you had more money, this would be a good thing to do it. Well, if you knew this thing, this would be. And literally for 30 minutes, this guy was telling me like why I shouldn't be in this business. And remember, I was new. I didn't really have a point of reference. I didn't have anyone to talk to necessarily who was already killing in this business. Didn't have really a mentor at that point in my business. And I still remember leaving that meeting. And I remember about 30 minutes. This guy took, and this guy was like in a 3-piece suit. He was dressed. He was dressed to a T. Mm-hmm. And I remember getting in an elevator going down. And I was like, why am I in this business? I mean, what the heck am I doing here? Mm-hmm. Here's a guy in a high-rise in the ritziest place in Georgia. He's got to know this thing better than I know this thing. I mean, if this guy's telling me I'm making a mistake, like, who am I to do this thing? I remember riding down the elevator, and I was just like, I was beyond depressed. I mean, to this is 20 some years ago, and I still remember that, you know. And I was like, what the heck am I doing in this business? You know, why am I in this business? You know, I remember when I got started, you know, literally 6 months after I got in this business, I lost $500,000. I mean, some of y'all right now, you're contemplating, I mean, should I even be in this business? You know, some of y'all right now are like on your last leg. Some of y'all right now are like, 2 minutes away from quitting this thing. And I remember 6 months into this thing, I was down. I mean, I wasn't like over leveraged that I could get it back. It was history. $500,000 never to be seen again. Talk about a legitimate reason to quit. And back then, again, I didn't have any points of reference. All I knew is I did 6 deals in my first 6 months. I trusted people I shouldn't have trusted. I hired people I shouldn't have hired. I was in areas I shouldn't be in. I was doing deals. I mean, literally pretty much every single thing as it relates to doing deals I did wrong. Mm-hmm. And 6 months into this thing, I was like, what am I doing? I just lost $500,000. I'm never going to recoup it. I mean, it took me 3 freaking years back then to get out of that hole, just to get back to zero just about. But guess what? 3 years later, I was one of the biggest players, if not the biggest player in Georgia. I remember when we were doing this business in the beginning, one of the things we did was we were knocking on doors. I mean, still encourage people to do. I think it's one of the best ways to get deals is literally go knock on doors. And when we got initially started, we were doing mobile homes. And I remember I was on one side of the house. I mean, on one side of the road, knocking on mobile homes, and my wife Robbie is on the other side, and we're knocking on doors. And I still remember this like it was like I'm there right now. And a guy comes out, and he had to have been somewhere in the 70s. And I give him my little pitch, and he walks out, and he kind of looks at me. He's walks out, we're standing there, and he goes, young man, look at this mobile home. And he looks this way. He said, look at that mobile home. He looks that way. He said, look at this mobile home. And he went around the circle, and he had said, I own all these 5 mobile homes. Now remember, back then, to me, 5 mobile homes was like being in Manhattan today and like somebody telling me they own 20 high-rises. I mean, back then, to me, somebody who owned 5 mobile homes was just like, that is like killing it. That was like rich. That was like an empire. I mean, it was. I mean, to me, it was like mind-boggling. And then he looks at me and says, it took me a lifetime to accumulate these 5 mobile homes. And he's looked at me, he's like, what do you think? You think you're going to go knock on doors and become successful? I said, what are you doing? And I was thinking like, wow, here's the guy that's built an empire. Because back then, 5 mobile homes was an empire to me. And he looked at it, and he was like telling me, like, basically what he was saying is, get the heck out of this business. You'll never do this. It took me a lifetime to accumulate this empire. And probably each mobile home was like $10,000, And I remember he walked back in, kind of smirked at me. And it was another reason that was another time I wanted to quit. And literally the only reason I didn't quit that day was I personally just didn't have enough guts to walk across the street and tell my wife that I wanted to quit. I just didn't have enough guts to tell her. But I mean, I was thinking, what? Again, I was like, why am I? So I had lost a ton of money. I had everybody telling me to quit. The people that weren't telling me to quit were just basically screwing me. There was no other way to say it. All the realtors that were getting me deals, they knew that I'd be here today, gone tomorrow, So they're like, well, yeah, buy this, buy that. And I didn't understand how to comp things out, and I didn't understand how to do values. I remember one time we were at home and I had my parents visiting us. We're about ready to sit down for dinner. It was about 8 o'clock at night, and my phone rings. And it was basically one of my contractors. We got in this argument over the phone. And I remember looking at my phone, my parents and Robbie, and I was like, I got to go. It was 8 o'clock at night. I got in this big shouting match with my contractor, and I knew I had to go. And, we lived a good 45 minutes to maybe an hour from where that home was. I remember getting in my car at 8 o'clock at night, and I showed up. I still remember the street it was on. It was on University Avenue. And I showed up. I don't know if you know where University Avenue is, but it's rough ass. That is like rough. And I swear to you, I show up at this house, and here was my contractor that I had just gotten a screaming match over. He had literally handcuffed himself to one of the pillars in at the house. He was standing there with a handcuff to it. And I was like, what are you doing, dude? And he then proceeded, now check this out. This is just to tell you. He then proceeded to tell me that since he was the contractor on that house, he had more rights to that house than I did. Now, look, 20 years later, that's like a joke to me, right? Some of y'all are like, what? But to me back then, I didn't know any better. I literally thought that since he was the contractor, I believed him, that he had more rights to that house than I did. And so here it is. It's 8 o'clock at night. No, by the time I got there, it was probably 9:30. Starting to get, it was dark. I'm standing with this contractor, this hood kind of contractor, who's handcuffed to my house, a railing. He's telling me to get the heck out of the property, get the heck out of there. He's telling me he's got more rights to it, and I believed him. I was like, wow, maybe he does have more rights to this house, even though I own it. And I remember calling the cops, and the cops came, and, they walked him off there. And I remember driving back home, and at that point, I had screwed up the dinner that I was at. My wife wasn't very happy with me because I took off, and, at 8 o'clock at night, didn't get back probably till 11. And I remember getting back home, and I'm thinking, this is crazy. This is crazy. I just got ripped off by a contractor because obviously at that point I had paid him a ton of money, never to be seen again. I had no idea how to pick up where I had left off. And I was just like, I got to quit this thing. This is just like crazy. This is like absolutely asinine for me to be doing this business at this point. I don't even know who's got rights to my own property, I remember another time I was going to closing on a wholesale deal. It was a wholesaler that sold the property to me. And about an hour before the closing, he calls me. He goes, closing's off. Now remember, I'm the buyer. He's the seller. And I still remember the guy's name. His name was Steve. Actually, Steve's in jail now. I do know that. But anyway, so Steve calls me. And he's like, no need to show up at closing. I go, what are you talking about? I said, I want this house. He goes, nah, I got a better offer. Now think about this. We're 3 hours away from closing. I'm under contract, so I got all the rights to buy it. And he was just messing with me. I mean, he was literally, because I was emotional back then about everything. And he goes, no, the deal's off. And if you want, and I'm like, no, Steve, I'm like, I got my financing lined up. We're closing later on today. I said, I want the house. He goes, no, Pete, you're not getting this house. And I remember getting so emotional about that. And he was just messing with me because what he wanted to do, he wanted me to pay more. And he knew that I got emotionally involved in the deal. And he knew that he could screw with me. And he did. He literally got me to pay an extra $5,000, $10,000 because he told me he got other contractors. And I didn't know that I had the right to the house. We were under contract, that if the price was the price, and I could just show up at the closing, or I could, force the issue. I didn't force the issue. He got me to pay an extra $5,000, $10,000.
Way to go, Steve.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely played me. He 100% played me on that thing. I remember one time I had a partner back then, Jeff, and I remember one night it was Jeff and Alicia, that was his wife, and myself and Robbie were at their house, and we were doing the spreadsheet investing. How you put numbers in a spreadsheet, and everything looked great in the spreadsheet, right? Mm-hmm. And then reality never works out.
I love spreadsheet.
Oh, investors. Yeah, spreadsheet investing is just like the best. You put in a spreadsheet, buy for this, fix for this, sell for that. And I remember us looking at the spreadsheet, and we had I think it was like $600,000 worth of profits on the thing. And I remember thinking, and at that point, my partner was having second thoughts about this business. He was possibly thinking of getting out. Now, he never did, but he was having second thoughts. And I remember looking at the spreadsheet, looking at the numbers of $600,000 worth of profits. I'm like, okay, Jeff. Now, I didn't want to force the issue, mm-hmm. but I was thinking, well, hell, this would be a great time for you to get out. We got this far, $600,000. Mm-hmm. I kid you not. When we got done with these deals, I don't think we lost money, but at that point we had zero. We made we went through, imagine going through the process. This is after I already lost $500,000. I had 600,000 of profits lined up. So imagine 600,000 of profits, all the crap we had to go through to find the deals, all the crap I had to go through to finance the deals, all the crap we had to go through to
rehab
them, all the crap we had to do to sell them. And in the end, I mean, so that's like probably another 6-8 months, zero. Like literally we made zero money on this thing. I mean, talk about wanting to quit. Oh man, that's a legitimate reason to quit. Guys, I promise you, when I built this business in the beginning, this is how my nights used to go. Like, okay, we'd get home. I'd get home. Jeff would get home. That was his last name, Warnick. So, and Jeff, this is so crazy. But this is how we built this business. I'd get home around 7, 8 at night. He'd get home around 7, 8 at night, and we'd call each other because we'd get the mail out, right? And we'd be opening up the mail, and this is how exciting it was back then. We would see how many credit cards we got approved for that day. Yeah. Because that's how we were building this business. Like, I'd be like, oh man, I just got approved for a credit card and it's got a $10,000 limit. So that was like $10,000 we could spend towards a rehab. And Jeff would be like, hey man, I killed you today. I got $15,000. I mean, think about this. I mean, like, that is how we built this business, by how many credit cards we got approved for that day, because that's how long we could go. I mean, you know, totally, you know, like not building it our own money, borrowing not only the money to buy them, but the equity piece that we had to do this thing. Mm-hmm. And I remember thinking one day, I was like, this is crazy. I mean, we're going into debt. Everyone around us is making money. Realtors making money, finance people making money, credit card people making money, contractors making money, back-end sales people making money. We were making zero. I mean, that's a legitimate reason to quit, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I could tell you story upon story. You know, I remember one time we were doing a deal, and we were sitting around a table. We had I think I had 5 partners in the deal. And we're talking, and it was just like Julie to me. The guy was next to me. His name was Lewis. And in the middle of this conversation, we're about ready to close on it was like $1 million and a half deal. Lewis kind of pipes up and he looks at all of us. He said, well, what happens if we lose money on this deal? And I was like, what? Lose money in the deal? And literally that deal took us about 8 or 9 months to do. And the way I had formulated the partnership, I was literally the only person that didn't make money. Now think about, would you spend 8 months putting a deal together? And I was the head guy in there, meaning I had to drive the whole thing forward. There were just a bunch of money guys around me, and then came out with nothing. That's a pretty legitimate I mean, would you work at McDonald's for 8 months for nothing? Would you work at your job that you're working at today not to get a paycheck for 8 months? Would you do anything for 8 months and then continue to do it? Because that's really the decisions I was faced with on a daily basis. I was either losing money or not making any money. Like back then, it became almost like a joke. Not making any money was a winner for us. I mean, it was literally a winner for us. I mean, on and on and on. You know, I remember somewhere along the line, not somewhere along the line, but about 12 years ago, the market started crashing around us. And I mean, we were losing sleep every night because everything was just crashing around us, you know? And I had too much pride in me back then to just kind of call it quits, which I should have called it quits at that point. And I mean, that was a legitimate reason to call it quits. And every day, all the money that we'd made for over 7 or 8 years in this business just kept on going lower and lower and lower and lower until one night, I remember my dad taking me to dinner and it's like, Pete, what the hell's going on? Because he could tell I was really messed up. And I finally told him what was going on. But man, talk about a reason to quit. I had lost everything I'd made in 7 or 8 years. Within a year when the market crashed, I had lost. That's a pretty legitimate reason to quit, right? I mean, I could tell you story upon story where I was just doubting everything. But not just doubting it from a doubting perspective. I mean, these are legitimate freaking reasons. Losing money, losing credibility, losing people that I know's trust. I mean, everything was going wrong. I mean, I literally in the first year or two, I wanted to quit this thing over and over and over again. But the reality, you know, for me, you know, somewhere along the line, as I know a lot of y'all are going through these situations, somewhere along the line, you have to figure out why you don't want to quit. And I'll tell you why I did not want to quit ultimately. Because the reality is I had nothing to go to. You know, I didn't have the best education. I definitely didn't have the grades. I didn't have credibility in the corporate world under any circumstances. So for me, the key reason became, and this is what I always tell people, I know you got reasons to quit. I know there's not a single one of y'all listening to us that is not at some point, maybe right now, you have a legitimate reason to quit. You got to figure out why you're not going to quit. Now, for some of y'all, it might be as simple as what I had. I had nothing to go to. I mean, if I was getting out of this business, I mean, like, you know, I didn't have anything to go to. I had no other option. But somewhere along the line, each one of y'all's got to figure out, I got it. You got a reason to quit. I know. You got lack of time. You got lack of credibility. You got lack of money. You got lack of support. You got lack, whatever it is, right? Something ain't going right, right? But you got to grab onto something that's going to keep you in this thing. Mm-hmm. See, for some of y'all, it might be as simple as what I had. What else are you going to do? Now, sure, I could have found a stupid job, and I could have gone managed at McDonald's, or I could have gone, you know, worked at a restaurant. I got it. I could have done something medium, but really, ultimately, that's not what I wanted to do the rest of my life. I didn't want to be a paycheck to paycheck guy. I didn't want to be some guy that was insignificant. I didn't want to be somebody that, you know. Now, all of you, for all the reasons you got to quit, you got to figure out that one reason, maybe two reasons why you don't want to quit. For some of y'all, it's your family. Mm-hmm. Some of y'all, it's your kids. Some of y'all, it's your husbands. It's your wives. Some of y'all, it could be like me, that you just have no other options. But I will tell you now that we're 20 years into this thing. I mean, I don't know how much you counted up, but there's easily in the last 3 or 4 days, there's probably $200,000 worth of profits right here. That's not a bad 4 days, right? Now, the reality is back then, if somebody would have told me, hey, there's going to come weeks where you're going to make a couple $100,000, I would have said, no. Exactly. Yeah. I would have been like, that ain't going to happen, right? So you got to find the reason, the here and now. You got to find the reason, the here and now. You know, I will tell you 20 years into this thing, you know, the one question that constantly gets asked of me, you know, there's some common questions that always people ask, but one question that commonly gets asked of me is, like, what would you do different in this business? You know, what would, you know, and I think people are looking like, what strategy would I have done? What should I have gone to a different market? And I could tell you across the board, the answer I give to people of what I would do different in the last 20 years, if I truly, truly believed that stuff like this was possible, I would have done it quicker. And I promise you, I was doing it quick. I mean, I was working day and night in this thing. I was working anytime I had a chance to do this thing, I was doing it. But if I truly, truly believed what's possible in this business, the financial side, the lifestyle side, the kind of things that I'm able to do now because of this business, if I truly, 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 truly believe, the one thing I would have done it quicker, the one thing I would have done different, I would have built it quicker. I would have literally built it quicker. So all of y'all have legitimate reasons to quit. I got it. But at the same time, they're all the same reasons. They're all the same reasons. And it's always the lack of something, you know. And you got to really ultimately take the focus of that lack of something. You got to take the focus off of that. Because reality is, and I've been doing this for 20 years, I've been working with other investors for at least 12 of them in terms of helping people become successful. I could tell you across the board, everybody wants to quit for pretty much all the same reasons. I don't have enough time. You know, I don't think this thing really works. You know, and it's always, guys, we all have 4 or 5 reasons. They're all the same. You just got to a certain degree get over that. Mm-hmm. You got to start seeing the big picture. You got to see the opportunities that are in front of you. You got to be honest with yourself. If not this, then what else? I mean, literally. I mean, look, I get it. Some of y'all are looking at this and you could make your millions here or you could legitimately make it somewhere else. I got it. I mean, if you got a no question, no brainer opportunities, that I get it. But for most of us, there was no like make a ton of here or make a ton there. For most of us, it's either kind of continue to be somewhat miserable, somewhat unhappy, somewhat lacking, or this.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to come to terms with it. Julie, I know you've been through some hard times in life. I mean, there's been times probably you wanted to walk away.
You know, and thanks for everybody for being on, and I'll get to your questions in just a minute. And Dana, I will get to you directly. You know, for me, it was a whole different set of fears. For me, it was the fear of being, the actual fear of being successful. And honestly, I think whenever I first got started, even though I knew I could make a career out of it, in my mind, it was good enough for me to pay my bills. And as long as I could do that, I was happy. So if I knew what I knew now, I would have had a lot more confidence in myself. And I know a lot of you out there are in the same boat. Whenever, you know, I'll never forget going to my first appointments and people, you know, I'm telling sellers, hey, I'm going to buy your house. Here's a contract for me to buy your house. It was the hardest thing for me because, you know, I really like to be upfront and honest with people. And it seemed, I'm like, man, they're going to see right through me. You know, these heels that I wore to this appointment are from Walmart, and I had to put magic marker on the back of them so that they didn't show just how old and ragged that they were. Once I got over the fear of being successful, that's whenever I truly became successful. Whenever I got started in this business, my back was completely up against the wall. For a lot of you that I talk to and that I'm working with right now, some of the most successful people had their backs against the wall. Whenever I got started in this business, I gave up everything to do this, and I had nothing. And I mean nothing. So I didn't even tell Peter whenever I hired him as my mentor that literally I was living in my RV next to my dad's house because I had to do something different for myself, and I had to do something different for my family. You know, so that you guys have got to get over those fears. And if you don't have your back against the wall, I don't know that you're going to be forced to put yourself forward. Not everybody is as driven as Peter is. I know, I don't know that I was personally. I'm more driven now that I'm successful than I was back then. I felt like I wasn't worthy of having this. I don't even know if I can even put it into words. But there's one thing that I do know is that I did look to give up a lot whenever I was first getting started. I remember whenever I'd get my first couple of deals, and look, losing deals is a part of this business too. That's why you know, I've already lost the deals. So now, you know, whenever I'm working with you, you're not going to lose the deals because I've already went through that scenario. But I remember like literally waiting for deals to close because I already had the money spent. And it happened to me a couple times where in my mind, the money was spent. I had all my bills paid. I had everything paid up. And then guess what happened? I got to the closing table and the deals didn't happen. So you also learn how to cope with things in this business. So there was plenty of reasons for me to give up. I was offered multiple positions, making over $100,000 a year when I'm eating ramen noodles. Do you know how hard that is to turn down a job making $100,000 a year whenever you can't even hardly afford to put gas in your car to go driving for dollars? I'm telling you guys, this is about not giving up and about motivating you. It's stop doubting yourself and get out there and do it. But only, and I mean only, go into this business if it's something that you really, really, really want to do. It's a beautiful business. It's fun. It's exciting. And it's hard work. I talk to, you know, a lot of people, you know, oh my goodness, I got to make all these cold calls. Yes, you have to do it. If it was easy, everybody would do it. It's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. But the work that you put in to what you gain is so much better. Like even my day-to-day, like, you know, to me, having big boats and in fancy cars, which actually I do have a fancy truck, but is not, it's a lifestyle that matters. My daughter's going back to school tomorrow. We were able to go get school supplies today. I was able to go grocery shopping while doing my work, go out to lunch. So if you have hard work, right, and if you put that hard work in and you mitigate your risk with working with somebody, whether that's us or whether that's somebody else, the quickest way to success is to work with someone that is already successful. And it's not about coaching. It's about stopping you from making dumb decisions. Sometimes people will, hey, I'm going to do this strategy or I'm going to do this strategy. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. Dude, it's your first week in this business. Do not go out and spend $3,000 in direct mail because you're going to waste your $3,000 because you don't know how to take phone calls. Okay? So if you want to be successful in this business, work hard, work harder, and find someone you can trust and that you can work with. And only because it's, Peter and I, working with us, it's more than just about, some sort of coaching program. I mean, these are my friends. These are our partners. I'm making money with them. I'm not a lot of times doing as many deals as I used to do personally so that I can work with them and make money. So I rely on the deals my partner does to feed my family. This is our livelihood. And guys, stop making excuses. Get your ass off the couch and get to work and work harder than you ever have. And it's not even about working. It's about having a passion for something. And whenever you're doing that, people will really and truly relate to you, whether that's sellers, whether that's buyers, whether that's real estate agents. And we do have the perfect program because this is a partner-driven coaching program. I mean, people really think it's crazy. I'm doing a flip right down the road with Kyle, and he literally cannot believe that I dropped lock boxes by today, that I'm paying the landscaper, that I'm paying the roofer, and that he's, him and I are working on this job together. And this happens day in and day out. A couple questions that I want to get to, and sorry guys, I'm a little bit passionate about this because this business, has really changed my life, and I've met some incredible people. So I love it. But know this, is you got to go out there and take action with something. If you would like to work with us and you would like to learn how to work with me, just schedule a call at calljuliemuse.com. You're probably going to get myself or Lana, probably mostly Lana, because to be honest, I'm out there working and doing deals and working with people that I'm working with now. So I'm not at a point to where I can always take those upfront calls anymore because I'm doing deals, okay? So number one, do that. At least hear what we have to say. I do want to get to a couple questions unless you have something you want to add.
Let me just say one thing. One of the most exciting, but yet one of the most kind of, it's not a depressing, kind of weird calls I get weekly, probably 3-4 times a week. It goes something like this. Hey, Pete, I was doing this thing with you or with someone else 5-6 years ago. I've been following you on social media and I've been seeing what you guys have been doing here. Man, I want to do it again. And, on one hand, I'm like excited. Okay, great. Here's another, we're going to be working together. And I'm thinking, gosh, like 4 years ago we were doing this and you quit. It's like I get these mixed emotions and I get those calls constantly. Don't be the person that like you look back at this where you are right now in life years down the road and say, I wish I would have, I wish I could have because I had the opportunity. The reality is, unfortunately, when you talk to people that are kind of older in age, in their 70s, 80s, and you kind of talk to them about their lives and you ask them, well, kind of tell me about your life. And, you could tell, and, reality is most people are not uber successful in the United States at that age. And here's what their life is littered with. Start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop, start, stop. I did this, boom, another notch. Did that, another notch. And then life goes by and you just kind of look at it and you're like, gosh. And then, they pinpoint literally like, man, if I would have only stuck with that, or if I only would have done that, don't be a person that, whether it's this business or whatever else you're into, don't do that. I can tell you this business, no question about it. Done deal, no brainer. But don't be the person that has a bunch of notches in your life throughout your life just to get to be older and look back in your life. And then the only thing you're going to be saying is, man, I wish I would have. I wish I could have. Don't do that. That happens with us on a weekly basis when we hear from people. And, you know, and the conversations literally go like that. Hey, I did this years ago, and we've been following you guys, and we've been seeing the incredible things you guys are doing. And now we want to be part of that. And you can kind of hear the trepidation in their voice because, like, they're a little bit embarrassed. They're sad about the, you know, kind of not wasting away, but missing on the last 4 or 5 years of their lives where they could have. Because ultimately, guys, here's the reality. All of us are paying a price. You're paying a price. You're paying either a very, very big price to be successful, or you're paying a bigger price not to be successful. Because make no mistake about it, not being successful, that's a big price you're paying. You're probably working your rear end off. You probably don't have what you want to have. You're probably not the hero your kids want you to be. You're probably not the guy or the woman that the husband or the wife married. And so make no mistake about it. Being broke or being not successful, that's a big, big price. And it takes most people spend an inordinate amount of time every day staying broke. I mean, literally from day to night, everything they do keeps them broke. I promise you, the price of success is kind of condensed. You know, it might be over months or years, but it's condensed. Because once you get to that certain level, and you, especially in a business like this, that's got the ability to do residual income, that's got the ability to create lifestyles, it's a condensed price. But then afterwards, you reap the rewards literally for the rest of your life if you set it up the right way. So anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, you know, really, you know, what it comes down to, and no matter what you do in life, just know you're worthy and you're worth it. You're worthy and you're worth it, and whatever you want to do. And I know everybody that's on this or listening to it later is like, oh, that's really bushy, but you are. You can really do whatever you want to do in life, you know. If you want to open a cake shop, go open a cake shop. If you want to be a real estate investor, be a real estate investor. But just like he said, don't wish you coulda, woulda, you know. And I'm really trying to enforce that in my life. I'm hoping to go on a trip with my granny at the end of this year to Niagara Falls because she really wants to go to Niagara Falls, and I'm going to find a way to make it happen, you know, guaranteed. But look, guys, we're here for you. We want to work with you. I want to do deals with you. There is no limit. I want you to know there's no limit to the amount of deals that you can do and that we can do together, okay? Because and we have partners. By the way, we have one partner right now that has 12 flips going on at one time. 12 flips. That's pretty, you know, that could be difficult to manage. And then we have, you know, tons and tons more across the country. There is no limit to how many flips that we can do. Only your appetite to do it. That's your limitation. And your ability to go manage and help us work on these rehabs. That's and your ability to find deals.
So remember, guys, if you want to learn how to find these deals, if you want to use all of our capital to fund the deals, to purchase them, use our capital to fix them, use our capital to manage them, use our capital to pay everything, you know, from insurances to holding costs to renovations to utilities. We provide all the capital to our partners. If you want to use our resources, guys, that's a big thing. I mean, we're in a 10,000 square foot building here, and everyone here is all about supporting ourselves and our partners across the country. Think about what it would take you personally to assemble a team like this. We got closers here. Guess what? For those of you that have ever done a deal, you know that sometimes just getting the deal is half the work, getting that sucker to close. Well, guess what? When you're partnering with us, all we do is we get a deal tied up. We give the file to Mary, our closer here, and Mary's like a bulldog. She'll close it. She will coordinate everything to get that deal closed. So if you want to use our people, I mean, here's another thing we do for our partners. Like you can go to your marketplace, right? Identify properties that we want to go after. All you do is jot down the addresses, email them to us, And our girls here, they do all the research on these properties. And they get you back information that you can't get at your courthouse. We'll literally skip trace the owner's information for you. And guess what? For our partners, we're paying for all of that service, okay? So if you want to use all our resources, all our capital, all our infrastructure, and then what we do is we get these deals into tip-top shape, we sell them and split the profits. You guys got to schedule a call at, I don't know why it must be on the website.
My name, calljuliemuse.com.
Call Julie Muse. Go to juliemuse.com, put your information in there, schedule a call with one of us, or call the number immediately, which is, what's the number?
We don't have.
Okay, it's on your screen. Call the number, and you'll get one of us on the phone, and we'll talk to you what our partnership program is all about. Remember, you got to be willing to invest into yourself, guys. This is not a get-rich scheme. This is not something we're going to do it all for you. No, you got to be. If you're willing to invest into yourself, then we are the answer. I can tell you what we do here with our partners in our coaching/partnering program. There's no one else in the country that does it. Because we don't just coach you through this thing. We actually partner with you and do the deals with you.
You know, and then our girls, whenever you close on deals, guys, part of our profits, and we keep saying girls because we have like girls and like David and Peter. So they're mostly all ladies working here. But whenever you close on deals, I mean, we pay everybody here commission when you close on deals. So everybody here is working hard to get your deals done. I talk to, ladies I work with like Laura and Juhi and Mary all weekend long working on, things that we have going on with you guys because we do contracts and things. But I'm sure I could go on and on and on and on about it. But look, I want to work with you. I want to come visit you in your market. I want to flip some houses. I want to wholesale some deals. Just call us.
Absolutely, guys. Is there any questions for us tonight about anything?
Well, she wanted to know how many deals. Dana wanted to know how many deals we could do at a time if there was like a limit.
There's no limit, guys. We would never, I can't remember ever turning away a partner deal that didn't make sense. So we got all of that taken care of. We have the infrastructure here to support our deals, your deals, our partner deals. We do not under any circumstances turn away any deals.
And I will be in Wisconsin soon because I have a partner in St. Paul and you know good well she's gonna have a deal in a couple weeks. Like we've been working with her for 2 weeks, and there's no doubt in my mind this lady's gonna have a deal before long. So, 5 hours is nothing.
And that's a very important piece. We actually, on the first deal that we're gonna do, most of the time it's myself or Julie. We'll come out and we'll visit you on that first deal. We'll spend a couple days together or a day together. No real agenda, just to get to know you. Because at that point, once we do one deal, we want to do a bunch of deals. So we actually, on our own dime, on our own expense, we fly out, spend some time with you, get to know you, maybe have a cigar together if it's me, and that is how involved we get with our partners across the nation. Anything else we've got to cover?
No.
We're good?
I think we're good.
All right, guys, go schedule the call. It's a life-changing thing. What we do in our partner-driven coaching program, no one, and I've been doing this for 20 years. I know all the guys out there doing this stuff. No one in the country does what we do. We'd love to talk to you. We'd love to help you out. We'd love to partner. We'd love to do deals. And really, that's what our coaching-driven partner program is all about. It's just it's a launch pad to develop long-term relationships and long-term partnerships.
And thanks for everybody that's already working with us and staying with us. Rose, I see you, girl. And we'll see you later.
See you guys.